And we back another week.
Yo, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to MMAHOLICS, where we like to break down all forms of mixed martial arts, of course, most notably the Ultimate Fighting Championship. We're back again. We were just here last week. Like we said, we would become more consistent throughout this year. One of the biggest goals for us for 2025 was to really establish the channel even more, of course. Obviously, we even have a lot of ideas that you've seen us do in the past, with the video games and stuff like that, but we want to keep laying down the foundation just with the fight breakdowns and stuff and staying true to us. And of course, we're still gonna do all that. We still like to play video games and stuff like that, and we still got some more ideas that we're cooking up, most definitely. But of course, this afternoon we're just gonna break down some of the most recent news and also that UFC Abu Dhabi card, UFC on ABC 8, Robert Whittaker versus Rainer de Ridder. But before we get there, gotta ask my boy Nikki how he's doing. He's been training real hard. So we gotta hear about that. How you been, Nikki? How was your week, bro?
I'm good, dude. Long week. Late night trainings. Good, dude. Just working. It's hot
Mm-hmm.
outside today. It was like 98. I was dying for the 5 minutes that it took me to walk from my job to my car. But besides
Mm-hmm.
that, it's been pretty good, dude. That's about it, bro. We was just here a week ago. Not much has changed, dude. Just training.
Yeah.
Training, and that's it, dude. Going for that, like I said to you, I'm going for that blue belt. Trying to lock that in this year for sure.
Mm-hmm. Nah,
Um,
for sure.
Yeah, get a nice Kurang and Muay Thai soon. Also, that'll be nice. Dude, do you like those? You ever seen those? The Kurang armbands the Muay Thai fighters wear.
Yeah. They have like the thing sticking out.
You
Yes,
think
I
those
have.
are cool?
Yeah, I think they're pretty. I don't know if they're actually used to actually like measure distance or if they're used for like, any like defensive attacks or.
So they're
Um.
more. I know, like the purpose of them. It's you wear it. It's like a protection. It's like your family. I think the mother of the fighter is supposed to give it to the son, and it's for protection.
Mm.
I saw a video of this one dude. He was fighting, and it was annoying him, and it kept slipping off his arm. So he took it, and he threw it at his coach on the break, and then he came back in and got knocked out like 8 seconds later. So
Mm-hmm.
I know some people definitely believe it's real, the protection of that. But dude, I love those, dude. As soon as my coach gives me a crew ring, I'm wearing that. People don't at our gym don't wear them. I'm wearing it. Those shits are sick, dude. I love the accessories.
Oh yeah, nah, for sure. And like I'm already knowing, especially and like as you like even how you just were able to explain that to me, like when you actually find out the different purpose behind using certain different pieces of armor throughout martial arts and the certain ones that can be used, like whether it's shin guards, anything like that. Like it's really cool to actually get the opportunity to utilize them, not just find out about them. So I'm glad, you're getting more experience every day. And like I'm really happy you're enjoying it, the process. Not many people are conditioned to taking punches, kicks, strikes. A lot of people, we sit back and watch it on TV, and we're so used to watching it, but that is not. You can't play fighting. You feel me? You're taking damage
Nope.
out there, most definitely, all the time. You feel me? So that's just how it is. You feel me? So. But yeah, man, always glad to hear from you. Glad you're doing good. And yeah, we can definitely go ahead and do some of the news announcements. We have to definitely get to that. Um, I guess I can bring it up on the UFC website or whatever. But yeah, man, obviously we know what's about to happen. We saw a lot of the fights that got announced the most recently, the pay-per-views for the next month, October. It's pretty crazy. We're not getting a pay-per-view in September. That's what I really got from that. When I really like was digging in to like the fights and like the matchups and stuff. I don't think we get pay-per-view in October, which I mean, hey, given the events we're about to receive, I'm definitely not complaining in the slightest, but it's just pretty interesting. I'm really wondering like if they're going to be able to stack both cards equally in October, 320 and 321, because obviously like um we do have the Abu Dhabi card that is coming up. And we know that Turkey Al Sheikh is a massive fan of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, and he's always making sure that the UFC try to really, stack the cards for that region of the world. So, um,
Hold on, my bad. I was screen sharing.
hmm,
Let's get
oh
the
no, you're
shirts
fine. You're
up.
okay.
There
Very
we
good.
go.
Yeah, I was just looking through, just scanning through like the upcoming pay-per-views, and obviously this is the one people are waiting for right now. Me personally, I can't really tell you who wins that fight between Dricus Du Plessis and Hamzat Chimaev. Obviously, we're definitely going to break that down when the time comes. I don't know if there's no, I think there are some fights before then. We have Albasi versus Tyra. It's the card next Saturday. And then we have Dolite versus Hernandez, of course, the two middleweights facing off in the Apex. Both these fights are in the Apex. So it is cool to see that for the most part throughout the summer, they were on the road. Let me stop my Atlanta. Damn, I forgot the other places they went to already. It was Atlanta, Nashville,
Kansas City, right?
and yeah, I think Kansas City was one of them. Azerbaijan, with the Khalil Roundtree, and yeah, like Dustin. I mean, obviously, like that's pay per view, but yeah, like I said, Nashville, Azerbaijan, Atlanta, most definitely. Gamrot versus Klein. Like Burns versus Morales, like that was in the Apex, but for the most part, they were on the road more than usual. Like even the fact they went to Azerbaijan, Atlanta, they hadn't came to us in like 6 years. You feel me? And these two literally had their sequel in Atlanta, the same arena that Joaquin Buckley and Kamaru Usman fought in. But of course, looking towards the future, I am super duper duper excited about the UFC Noche matchup with Gene Silva versus Diego Lopez. Obviously, we're gonna break that down to you when the time comes. Number 2 versus number 11. So you know what that means when we get special matchups like that. You don't really see that often. Like when Sean O'Malley was the number 12th ranked bantamweight and he fought the number 1 ranked Piotr Jan, because they knew the potential that Sean O'Malley possessed. And I think that John Silva is in a similar position to Sean O'Malley at this point in time, seeing that Gene Silva is extremely popular, following that whole fight, like fighting nerds camp and stuff. Carlos Prates, his teammate Kyle Bahia was literally fighting the week prior against Nasruddin Imavov in Paris. So the fighting nerds have a lot coming up in September. And we might not get a pay-per-view, but that could be the month of the fighting nerds. And that shows you, even back, like they're stopping by the Apex in August. When we hit September, they're getting right back on the road, going to the annual Paris card, which is literally always in September. So it's cool that they really made that an annual destination, Paris, most definitely. And we see Nasruddin Imavov in that main event spot after knocking out Israel Adesanya. And like I said, Gene Silva versus Diego Lopez, that's going to be in San Antonio with a stacked card, most definitely. That's also on September 13th. That's the same night as Canelo Alvarez versus Terrence Crawford. So that's going to be a pretty crazy night in terms of fighting, most definitely. It's going to be pretty fucking insane. I'm not going to lie. Still waiting on some news for this that's the UFC Perth card. I wonder who, because Steve Ursek dropped some fights. So I don't think it'll be Steve Ursek. Taito Ivasa has lost 5 fights in a row. So I can't really tell you who. I think Carlos Olberg, maybe, out of that city kickboxing camp. You feel me? I think he could get a main event spot. If Zhang Min Yang can get a main event spot in Shanghai, I think that he can definitely get a spot. And here's the big fights, the big boys. Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev, too, of course, the former champion, trying to get his belt back. We also have Corey Sandhagen versus Murad Drashvili on that card as well. How do you feel about this fight, bro? Like, some people aren't giving Corey a chance like that I've seen on social media. How do you feel about this matchup?
I love it. I love this matchup, dude. I think Corey Sandhagen is really good. I know you had the fight with Umar, and that's going to offset people because, Umar just lost to Merab himself, and Umar kind of had his way with Sandhagen in that fight. But Corey stated he didn't fight that way he wanted to. He kind of fell into the trap of, I need to go forward, I need to do more, because he thought the judges were going to give Umar the fight. I think Corey is very good technically, dude. The way he moves around the octagon could give Merab. There's a lot of things that could give Merab problems. Merab's obviously a beast. You kind of gotta rock with him until otherwise. But I do like the matchup. I think it's a good fight. I don't really care that he might not be the number one contender because like who else is he supposed to fight in that division? And Merab wants to fight. Merab wants 2 more title defenses this year.
Number 4 ranked.
Huh?
Nah, I would just say like he's the number 4 ranked bantamweight. I like it when it's like that. I feel like it's a criteria you have to meet to be a title challenger, and that's being a top 5 contender in a division, and being on a win streak, having won a few fights in a row, and being a fresh matchup at that. Corey literally ticks all of those boxes. Being the number 4 ranked bantamweight, he's on a win streak right now, and he has yet to fight Merab compared to Piotr Yan and Sean O'Malley. And really in the other contenders as well. So it's cool to see Corey get the title shot for sure, the undisputed title shot after fighting for the interim championship back at 267.
Yeah, I agree with you. My bad, I'm getting some texts right now. Like I said, I love that fight. As soon as I heard that he wanted the fight, I was advocating for it. I think it'll be a great one. And like at the end of the day, I'm rocking with Merab, but like that doesn't mean I'm picking him. Like I think Merab's the better fighter. He's the better mixed martial artist, but it doesn't mean I'm picking him yet. Like I haven't really broken it down. I haven't looked at how Sandhagen fights against people like Merab. I haven't really done the film study, putting my notes all together. So like I think he has a chance. Like always, I think everyone has a chance against Merab because as dominant as he is, like you see these little things that tell you that he could lose. You know what I mean? You see it in every fight. That last Sean O'Malley fight, as good as Merab was doing, dude, Sean just needed to punch 1 millisecond quicker to catch him on the chin. Those counters on the cage were coming in snappy quick. So yeah, this matchup, I'm excited for that Ankalaev and Pereira. I need Alex to get that back.
Nah, like I understand. You feel me? Like it's a pretty good card, like altogether. Merab Dvalishvili on it. Of course, we do know that we're getting Yuri Prochazka versus Khalil Roundtree, the number 2 ranked fighter versus the number 4 ranked fighter in the light heavyweight division. I love it how Dana already gave us our main event, our co-main event, and the feature bout. All 3 in quick succession. I really do hope that they make Prochazka versus Roundtree 5 rounds, because obviously this is the number 1 contender fight. When they put the number 1 contender fight and the championship bout on the same card, that's normally because they want them to be on the same schedule and have no excuses as to why they can't turn around and fight each other. Now for Yuri and Alex, that'd be pretty weird, because obviously Pereira has 2 wins over Yuri Prochazka, but for Yuri, getting 2 wins over Jamal Hill and Khalil Roundtree should definitely get you something, especially being at the top of the division and being a former champion, and a real popular fighter, of course, the man that Yuri is. So how do you feel about Roundtree versus Prochazka? And of course, not giving an early lead, but how do you feel about them making the bout and what it means for the division?
Well, it's the best fight you could definitely make that's not a championship fight. I mean, these 2 dudes are dangerous, and that's for sure. Yuri just graduated college. He got that certificate and home. So, I mean, he's doing great for himself. Khalil Roundtree just put together a great win after getting, the fan recognition. So now he put together a great win, just emphasizing the kind of fighter he is. I think that's a dangerous matchup, dude. I have no clue where my mind's at. I would say as a fan, I like Roundtree a little more, dude. He's like he's very humble. You don't get many fighters like him in the UFC. Everyone's cocky. Everyone talks shit. Roundtree's just like a humble dude. Because at the end of the day, Roundtree is a normal human being. He wasn't the athletic, genetically gifted dude who was born to be a UFC fighter. He paved that way for himself. So he's a very humble dude. Flipped his career around, and now he's getting the respect he deserves.
Yep.
I'm a big fan of Roundtree. Like I said, this is a tough fight. He could easily lose this one because Yuri is one of the better light heavyweights that we've definitely seen. That dude is a psychopath, and there's no pathway to beat him. You just have to be Alex Pereira to beat Yuri Prochazka. That's the method. You got to be Alex Pereira. You got to be able to knock that dude out.
Yeah, and like for me, I know a lot of people are doubting Khalil Roundtree and going into that fight. I think it's just like a done deal. But for me, like the way he was looking so good against Pereira in those first couple of rounds. Like, I don't get how he's going toe to toe with like the champion like that, one of the most hardest hitters in UFC history. But now he's gonna fold like a lawn chair against Yuri Prohaska, who I think, Pereira is way better as a technical striker, and I think it hits harder than Yuri Prohaska. So I wonder how Khalil Rountree is going to handle the game plan of Yuri, the wildness, the unorthodox striking, and things of that nature, the footwork, the distance management. But I think Khalil is extremely athletic. He's really fast, really powerful, and super precise. So it just depends. Like, we got to see if the fight's 3 rounds, it changes everything. If it's 5 rounds, it changes so fucking much about that fight. And yeah, I do really hope they make it 5 rounds. Like, having 3 5-round fights at the end of that card would just be so beautiful. And hopefully, like, we do get some a whole good pay-per-view main card, not just a top-heavy pay-per-view. Because I like, that would be a great pay-per-view. Like, just because obviously people keep shitting on the UFC, and like, I do want them just not shut the fans up, obviously, because they want to hold the UFC accountable. But I think fans have super duper duper high standards nowadays in terms of the cards and stuff like that. They expect like a UFC 299, every single pay-per-view. You feel me? And that's just not gonna happen just because it's a pay-per-view. It doesn't mean see, for me, I don't, because people keep saying the product is dropping and I'm not watching Contender Series this year, and the fighters, they're signing just anyone off the regional scene and stuff. I don't agree with that. Like, how can the cards like this last UFC 318 was really good, and like the UFC Nashville card was great too. That was like I think we had 6 finishes in a row at one point or something like that. So like, for us to have all these great cards and stuff, like, there's no way the correlation can't be that the fights deliver, but like the fighters and the product is bad. That just doesn't make sense. I just think like some people are really desensitized nowadays to the cards, and I don't think people are doing their due diligence and doing the research about all these fighters on every single card, because it's always new fighters. Like, it's always people that some of us might not know. They're always signing people that didn't even get on Contender Series, didn't even get on the Ultimate Fighter. So it's like, for me, I just think these next pay-per-views are really going to show that the UFC is at an all-time high right now. And even with this matchup right here, Cyril Gane finds himself in another massive heavyweight title fight. I still have the poster from UFC 270 when he challenged for the undisputed heavyweight title the first time as the interim champion against the then champion, the Predator, Francis Ngannou. So it's cool to see him back in a big fight, man, a big spot. There's no betting odds yet, but obviously you can tell from social media, people have Cyril getting folded again. They're acting like he didn't look good against Sergey Spivak in his last fight. They're acting like he didn't stuff the takedowns and, to really train his grappling. They're acting like he's not a professional fighter and he's not gonna be able to adjust from that. And people try to just that shit, like, he lost. It was John fucking Jones, right? It was John fucking Jones when he got submitted like that. People try to undermine that so much and make it seem like he just got submitted by anybody. Like just anyone can go. I think if he fought Jotin Almeida, I don't think Almeida's gonna go in there and just blast double leg him, take him down, and just choke him out in the first. Like, no, bro. Like, Francis Ngannou was a strong ass motherfucker. Cyril was even gonna still win that fight after he got them takedowns. He just went for the fucking heel hook in the 5th round for no reason. He was still up after getting taken down, and that's how Ngannou got on top in the 5th round, because he went for the heel hook. And it was just like, I mean, like, people got they it's just like, I think people just they'll be disappointed in him, and like, they'll act like fighters can improve. They act like that's the end all be all. Like that's just fucking it's crazy to me. Like, if we're gonna treat this like the NBA, the NFL, we have to give the fighters a chance to improve in and out of the scrimmages. Like that's these dudes like game days, man. Like, twice out the year, you feel me? Like, you gotta let them improve, especially when you're fighting the best in the world. Like, I get it. I personally, I low-key thought Volkov won the rematch when they fought that second time. I picked him to win that fight. I picked Gon to win the first fight when they first fought in the Apex, and Gon destroyed Volkov the first time they fought. So it's like, for me, I still think Cyril Gane is a great fight. All that being said, I say that because I think this fight is going to be legendary. They put it in Abu Dhabi for a reason. They weren't gonna hold it out until like they could have put the heavyweight championship in New York. They put it in Abu Dhabi because they knew this was going to be a good fight for them. And obviously, we know that also confirms our suspicions that that New York card is most certainly going to be Jack Della Maddalena versus Islam Makhachev for the welterweight title. And we'll see how that goes. You feel me? Because I think Jack's a pretty fucking good fucking fighter, man. And and yeah, man, like this card's building up already. We got Alexander Volkov versus Jolton Almeida. We got Alexander Rakic versus Azamat Murzakanov. We got Hamdi Abdulwahab versus Chris Barnett.
Big boys.
Yeah. We got Islam Ikram Eliskarov. Ikram, most definitely, versus Jun Young Park. And we got Azat Maxim versus Mitch Raposo, the newly added fight. So yeah, man, and like it's telling you right up here. It's saying 10 o'clock p.m. It's most definitely gonna be at 10 o'clock a.m. For certain. If you check on Tapology, where we're about to be in a minute, actually, you'll see that it's most certainly at 10 o'clock in the morning. Just like the card tomorrow, that one starts at 12 noon. So that's normally how it goes around that side of town with those cards, which I enjoy that too. I like being able to hit the gym before, get some breakfast, and then just watch the fights, chill out, whatever, for sure. So yeah, man, just wanted to review all these newly added fights. Definitely had to, man. We're gonna see how it goes, man. Well, last thing I will say, we are waiting. We are waiting for my bad, Skinny. I mean Nikki, my fault. We are waiting. You can pull up Topology again if you want to. For the confirmed UFC 319 co-main event, we still don't have that yet. Some people think it's gonna be Mobstar Evloev versus Aaron Pico. Because obviously that was a 5-round fight. That was going to be on this card, but unfortunately Mobstar had to pull out. Not when I do air quotes, I say that like I think they might have told him to pull out of this card so he could go into the other one. You feel me? Like, because they've done that before. Like when Paulo Costa was supposed to fight Ikram Aliskerov, they pulled him from that card so he could fight Hamzat Chimaev in Abu Dhabi. But that's when he had that infection in his elbow, and that's when Kamaru Usman stepped in to fight Hamzat Chimaev on 11 days' notice and almost took that motherfucker to a draw off the couch. So watch that shit live. UFC 294, you feel me? And unfortunately, that was when that was the same afternoon, because it was in Abu Dhabi. That was the same afternoon that Volkanovski got head kick knocked out by Islam Makhachev. So yeah, that was a heartbreaking afternoon for the boys on the couch, most definitely. But it's all right. Both legends took the fights off the couch, so we knew that wasn't the real versions of them inside the cage that day. You feel me? But yeah, of course, just wanted to reflect on memory lane with the past Abu Dhabi cards, because now we have our most recent one, UFC on ABC 8. Before we dive into this card, how do you feel about this card itself? We got a big main event, so like any card that has a big main event always gives it that pay-per-view-esque feel, in my opinion, especially with a stat card like this. We got Piotr Jan on here too. So how do you feel about the card as a whole?
I like this card a lot. It has a lot of really cool names. Dude, it is a really good card. I don't think there's a bad fight. A lot of cards, even pay-per-views, there's like, oh, this is the fight. This is the piss break or whatever. I don't think this card necessarily has even a piss break at all, dude. You start, the main card is good top to bottom. You got Whittaker versus D. Raider. Jan versus McGee is very good. We got Shara Bullet. We got an Asu Amabayev fight. Krylov versus Guskov should be really good. Obviously, we got the Bryce Mitchell at 135. We got his first fight. Dude, Blackshear. You got Carlos Leo is cool. You got the two ladies. I mean, Ricci, you know, that's like the UFC's baby girl for sure. They love her because they love her. They love her husband, so you know they love her at the same time. Got a big boy Ibo Aslan, got Nguyen, Yanyaya, and then at the early in the fight, I'm very interested. I want to see Buchecha, dude. That's a high level grappler. For those who don't know, he's a IBJJF like world champ, dude. He's a fucking
like
beast.
7-time champion.
Yeah, that dude. You know, he's faced the who's of the who's, dude. Gordon Ryan. I think he had a draw with Roger Gracie back in the day. I mean, if you go down his topology itself, I mean, we're gonna start down there anyway. So since we're gonna go down there, you take a look. That's a dude who had a career before his UFC career. I mean, he's been in one, so not his MMA career, but before his UFC career, he's had like 2-3 careers at this point, dude. You know, he's fought the great Anderson Silva. Now I'm just playing. That's not the real Anderson Silva. But, dude, I mean, you just look at this. This is, like, insane. He's had 2 runs in IBJJF. Actually, 3, it's looking like. But, yeah, dude, you'll see names down here. Even if you're not a grappler, you see a Gracie. You know a Gracie. Everyone knows who Gordon Ryan is.
How do you feel about, like, how do you feel about dudes how like immersing themselves? Like we saw Israel Adesanya, who had a 75-5 kickboxing record before he even came in to MMA. So how do you feel about dudes having whole careers coming over at in their prime for this dude at 35? So how do you feel about dudes like athletes doing that, like immersing themselves like in one sport entirely, like that one discipline, and then coming over? Like, how do you think it translates?
Well, I love it because that's what mixed martial arts is all about. You know, you're taking dudes who are the best at one martial art. So you're taking dude who is a legendary kickboxer in Israel Adesanya and Alex Pereira, or you're taking a dude who was the best at wrestling in Henry Cejudo, or someone who was the best at jiu-jitsu and here in Buchecha or something like that. And you're taking these dudes and then they translate later in their career after they've accomplished the highest of the highs in their martial art. Now they're doing mixed martial arts. So they're coming into the sport, and we see it all the time. They're coming into the sport at a disadvantage because they have to learn how to do stuff that they don't do in the past. So they have to learn how to strike, or they have to learn how to wrestle or grapple, or even be on their feet, like the wrestler learning to strike. We got Gable Stevenson's I think he was looking to be a mixed martial artist. That dude has to learn how to box. I mean, he's looking pretty good, You got Bo Nickel. People were sure he was going to be a fraud on the feet. I mean, and he had some knockouts. He looked good. And then when he saw that higher level competition, as we're going to talk about his opponent later, we saw what happened, dude. He got exposed on the feet. So I love it, though. That's what it's all about. And it's awesome when those dudes who are, I'm not trying to call them one-dimensional, but so they're such high level at what they do, and they come in and they dominate just using that one thing. Like Alex Pereira became one of the greatest light heavyweight champions in UFC history just with his kickboxing, dude. He didn't have to grapple. And when dudes grappled him, he lost a round. He got his back ticked, but they didn't beat him. They didn't beat him because he got right back up on the feet, and he showed why he was a glory kickboxing champ. Adesanya had one of the greatest, if not the greatest, middleweight career. It's up for you to argue. But, I mean, it's awesome. And then, like I said, I'm super excited for this. I think Buchecha, I'm not going to spoil my pick yet, actually. Let's back out of this. But, yeah, I mean, I think we're ready to break into it. But, yeah, I like it.
Yeah, for sure, man. Most definitely, y'all. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Yeah, man. Like I said, I just was super curious about that. Like, that's my favorite part about MMA is like how seeing all the martial arts really compare with one another, how they really fare against each other. Some people think the wrestling is the best martial art. They think it can nullify most martial arts, but every fight starts on the feet. So if you can't get it to the ground, and you have a really good striker in front of you, he can really tear you apart. Even of course, it's not like Dragon Ball Z where they're punching a million punches per minute, but when they're surgically chopping you at least on UFC stats type, 5 strikes per minute, 6 strikes per minute, that's definitely a lot for sure in terms of taking damage and stuff. So
what do you think the best base is for MMA?
Me, shit.
And it doesn't have to be what you think the consensus is. Like, what do you think? Like, if you had to build a fighter and he could start with one martial art, what would it be?
Mm, I think good striking. I think personally, I think like because that way, like everything else can just follow suit. Like like everything else can follow suit after that. When the fight starts, like you'll be good at least on the feet. You can learn the takedown defense. Like you can learn how to sprawl at least. The wrestling can work itself in later. You can develop a great sprawl and have good takedown defense. You was telling like Max Holloway when he had like 90% takedown defense and like he's keeping on the feet with the striking, and like Robert Whittaker in the main event, he made a career out of that with like high takedown defense and just sprawling. And like Robert can wrestle, of course, but yeah, he would just keep it on the feet and stick with the striking, and that got him all the way to a belt at 26 years old. So, yeah, like I think like striking, if you can be like the best striker in the division, like if you win the belt with your striking, automatically makes you the best striker in the division. Like we saw how that worked out for Pereira. We saw how that worked out for Israel Adesanya. I could say a bunch of dudes. Like, a lot of strikers became champions. Like, there's a whole debate of what more discipline became champions. Like, if more wrestlers became champions and more BJJ artists became I think that I've seen a lot of like strikers. Like, like Rob in this lifetime. Michael Bisping became a champion with the striking. Like Robert Whittaker, I just said. You feel me? John
Peter
Jones.
Yan, Sean
Yeah,
O'Malley.
Came in champion with the striking. Yes, he did. Sean O'Malley, literally one of the greatest striking bantamweights of all time. So it was a lot of strikers that won titles with a lot of champions that won titles with good striking. So we could go like down. Demetrius Johnson, like he was well rounded, of course, but preferred to strike. Was super dominant as the champion. Davison Figueiredo. Of course, he can grapple most definitely, but Davison, he was known for his power and his knockdowns. He won a belt with his striking. So I think if you become, I think if you're the best striker in the division, everyone else is in trouble. And that's just how it is. Because like if they know that they have to get the fight to the ground, that can at least help you game plan. Like, okay, I know I have to train my wrestling a lot because I know I'm the best striker. So because I know if it's on the feet, he's not gonna survive, or at least only survive so long. So in my opinion, I would think, if you're starting out with striking, like everything else can follow in. You feel me? Even like with being a good, BJJ dude, if he's struggling to land, it's swinging like looking down and shit like that, and he's trying to get you to the ground and stuff. With like, if he's Eminari rolling, trying whatever he can to get you to the ground, he's being that desperate. Once he gasses out trying to do that, again, you can pick them apart. And again, this is just my opinion. Some people might think I'm tripping saying this whole statement. There might be some dudes out there who wrestled in college who feel like the fact if they can close the distance with a good takedown and stuff like that, grab a hold of you, like out muscle you, like control you. But it's a fight though, like because you have to control. So you have to wrestle someone to get someone to the ground and pound. Versus the striking, you already start on the feet. You just have to keep it there, So that's just what I see it, I guess.
I agree with you. A lot of people online, you see it all the time. When this topic comes up, they'll say sambo. I feel like that's like oh, I know ball, I'm gonna say sambo kind of thing. Or a lot of people do say wrestling. For me, I'm biased. I would say a Muay Thai or a kickboxing. Definitely one of those two. I feel like boxing isn't enough. Boxing, you have to be at such a close range that you're in threat of being taken down. Whereas kickboxing and Muay Thai, it's so much on distance management, movement. Whereas boxing, you're supposed to be in the pocket. And karate, I would not pick karate as at first base because, dude, you can
be a karate fighter.
You could be like a Connor, or a Wonder Boy, but I wouldn't pick that over like a Muay Thai fighter or a kickboxer.
Mm-hmm. What do you think? And this is my last question before we break it down. Like, why do you think? Like, so you don't think karate can be like what you started out? Like, how it's like how Yair Rodriguez is like he's taekwondo most definitely.
Yeah, it's definitely a good base, but like those dudes are so prone to being taken down because they lead with their leg. Lead with your weapon is the most important thing, but they're leading with their leg. They're handing you their takedowns, and obviously they get so many knockouts because of that. Because you go for their leg, you get kneed, you get head kicked, and they just attack you. But it's such the stance isn't good for mixed martial arts because of the threat of the takedown. Because if you're fighting a bow nickel and you have that kind of that stance, that left foot's completely forward and your right foot's completely back, it's just not a good stance, dude. Those dudes get to your legs so easily, and if you're a karate dude and that's your whole base, once they get a hold of you, you're screwed. They're gonna get you down. Whereas, Muay Thai, it's so fucking, you're so tight, you're moving, your feet are closed, you're standing tall. Muay Thai, you do stand tall. I will admit that. So it is, in MMA, you got to get a little lower, But yeah, I would definitely say between kickboxing and Muay Thai for me, because I don't think a karate base is as good. It has worked for people, though. Those Taekwondo bases and shit, it has definitely worked for people.
Yeah, man, we saw again. Yair Rodriguez won an interim championship. He did it with a submission off his back, but
think about it though. Henry Cejudo switched from however he was to a karate stance out of nowhere in his career, and hasn't won a fight since he's done that. So I mean, that's just like a prime example of it. Yair, as great as he is, and as many like flashy things as he is, would you say his career is consistent? Would you say Wonder Boy's career is consistent? It's up and down at a high level.
Wonder Boy went to a draw with the champion, man. He was right fucking there. He was right fucking there, man. Dude, he was right fucking there. Steven was amazing in his prime, and like I feel like he's an outlier because he's literally one of the best karate. His like he was like a unicorn with like the way he was able to use his style. Of course, he's just older now. I don't even count the shit that's going on inside the cage now, and some people still even thought he won this last fight. It's not the same guy from 2016, the guy that was beating Rory McDonald, and all that. So, yeah, man, I agree. But no, like I just always like seeing I want to see more Kyokushin fighters and Zabit Magomed use a lot of Kyokushin and stuff. So I always like real strikers like that. That's why I love Yair, most definitely. But yeah, we can go ahead and get started. Starting out with the discipline. Gonna go ahead and break down the heavyweights, get the big boys out the way early. Apparently, that's what Mick Maynard's trying to do. So when it comes to Martin Buday and Marcus Buchecha, obviously with Martin Buday, we know he's definitely faced a way better competition. He has way more experience in terms of a UFC career. Dare I say he's the better fighter? I don't know. You feel me? I think he's a pretty good fighter. I'm not gonna disrespect Buchecha. I think he has worked really hard to establish himself in one championship. Trying to gain more experience, and he can only fight who's given. He's fought five guys. I mean, like six people thus far. And could you click on the matchup, please, Nikki? My bad. Yes, we can dig in a little bit. And so yeah, man, like even for Buchecha, he's a -300 fucking favorite going into this matchup. Yeah, man, it's pretty crazy to see that they're disrespecting Martin Buday like that. And Martin Buday, he's on a 2-fight win streak. He just won. He just beat an undefeated fighter in this last fight. So the fact that they're really counting him out like this is pretty crazy. I guess that everyone's really betting on potential, literally betting on potential for this one. I mean, of course, the wins weren't the best, beating Jake Collier and stuff like that. But for me, I guess I won't spend too much time on this one. I just think it's cool, how people are really calling Buchecha one of the greatest grappling heavyweights, literally of all time. They're literally saying this guy is like a historic grappler, generational grappler. He's 35 years old. I'm in the middle of 35. So for heavyweight, I definitely think he's in his prime. He might not even be in his prime yet until he's faced more UFC competition. I think we'll see the prime Buchecha around 37. When he'll still be agile for the heavyweight division. He keeps himself in great shape from what I can see on his social media. So it's Friday, so he weighed into this fight 254 pounds. So yeah, man, hopefully he can get the fight done and get it down to the ground. Most definitely. I think if he stays on the feet, he's definitely going to be in trouble If it goes past like round 2, I think round 3 he'll be in a lot of trouble in the deep water. So I'm just gonna go with Buchacha by a first round submission. I think he'll be super aggressive, trying to get the fight to the ground and get a rear naked choke in the first round.
I like it a lot. I'm 100% right with you on that one. I got Buchecha winning this one by a first round sub. Like we said enough, he's an elite BJJ guy, just to put it as simple as that. Boudet, I'm not really impressed with him anywhere. Every time I think of Boudet, I remember the Shamil Gazieva performance where he was just getting absolutely roasted on the cage and just died. Literally, just had no cardio and just got beat to death.
Right.
I know Boudet obviously has the threat standing, but unless he's stopping the takedowns of Buchecha, I don't think, unless he gets like a flash knockout or something crazy, I really don't think he's going to be a threat to Buchecha at all in this fight. I think he's going to get him down, get him how he wants him, and sub him how he wants him. I think he's just going to get to him, mount him, and however Boudet reacts, Buchecha's going to have the counter ready for him waiting, whether it's a Kimura, anything. He's going to see an arm and he's going to go for it. I think it's going to be a pretty easy one. Yeah, and like the line is wide, like you said. I was talking to my friend about it, the one who asked for picks from me, and it's like, dude, the UFC is crazy with these lines, dude. Every fight's minus 300, minus 700, minus 1500. Do you know what kind of ass whoopings you're expecting? And I know we both just said a first round sub, but it's so unpredictable that this fight could easily just go to a decision and be a split. You could easily get knocked out. It's just so wide, the lines all the time, dude.
Yeah, and like I feel like, again, like I think this is people really betting on potential. Like I'm going down Buchecha's record right now, and like I mean, like he did beat a 14-3 fighter, Amir Aliyah Kabari, and Renikic, like by Renikic choke. That was last year, his last fight in one championship. I also heard they paid a lot of money to get this guy. Like they had to do a contract buyout on some NBA shit just to get him over to the UFC. So it's pretty interesting. I do wonder how much he will make for his debut. They got him in a big spot, opening up the entire card in ABC, and we know that Turkey Al Sheikh and all those men from that area. They do like to be at the fights early because this is at night for them, even though it's early in the morning for us. But yeah, like he's beating some decent competition. Like I said, he beat he beat the 5-0 Ji Won Kang by rear naked choke, and he's finishing all these dudes. His only loss, he lost to Umar Khan on August 4th, 2023 by unanimous decision. So, and yeah, like he learned from that with one more win against a 14-3 fighter. And then he participated in another grappling bout like a few days after that, on November 17th. So this guy is super active. He hasn't fought or been out since 2024 in November. So last fall around Thanksgiving, spend time with his family for the holidays. But I guess now he's ready to get back out there. And I do got Marcus Buchecha to get this fight done via first round sub. Moving on to the next fight though. Most definitely, you can go ahead and give me the next pick if you want, Nikki.
All right. In this one, we have Muhammad Yahya versus Steven Nguyen. In this fight, I was going to take Nguyen to win this one by a decision. Yahya is moving down from lightweight in this fight, being that he did have two pretty hard matchups in his first two UFC fights at lightweight. I like Nguyen in this fight. I think he should be able to land pretty clean in this fight, comfortably stay on the feet. I know if anyone was to, I don't see this fight on the ground at all. I think this fight majority stands. If this fight were to go on the ground, I guess I would say Yahya definitely has the advantage. But I don't think this fight does end up on the ground. I think it'll be pretty much standing. And I know Nguyen does have the threat of a finish, so I'm going to take him in this one. I'll have him to win this one by a decision. I think he could definitely hurt Yahya in this fight. And we also have to see, this could be one of those turning points, changing divisions. This is the better division for me kind of scenario. But sometimes, like I said, I'd have to see it. Like how we said earlier with Merab, like to beat Merab, you'd have to, you have to see something to pick against Merab at this point. So for me, with Yahya, I have to see him at lightweight, where are we fighting in this one? This is at lightweight.
Lightweight. 155.
Oh yeah, they weighed in already. I'm looking at it like, why is he already weighed in? That's the latest weight because he weighed in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
like I said, I'd have to see him at lightweight to really believe in picking him. So I'm gonna take Nguyen in this one.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, okay, so now this is at featherweight. This fight is at 146. And yeah, it sucks for Muhammad Yahya, man. Like I kind of want to dig into his history. You can go ahead and click on his Tapology on his page, please, and like scroll down a little bit. So this guy apparently had a really illustrious career on the regional scene. As you can see, he had 3 titles right there. Fighting in the UAE Warriors. He turned the corner when he signed with the division on the division with the promotion on October 18th, 2019, when he had his first fight. He lost to Doug Collins by dart stroke. Unfortunately, like he did get submitted in that, but he learned from that and he came out and riddled off like a crazy 5-fight win streak. And we saw him become champion. In UAE Warriors, which a belt to belt. We saw him win. Win the title by TKO in round 2, and then he got the arm triangle in the 5th round. At that, finished the guy in the 5th round. You feel me? So we know he has good cardio. We know he can go 5 rounds, and then he doubled down by defending the belt again against Sohail Tyree. Now, of course, those last 2 title defenses really didn't have the best records, of course. But I just still thought it was cool to see him really like have a cool regional scene career like that in UAE Wars. It's still like a pretty good roster over there. I do watch their fights sometimes. I think they just had a card like on Wednesday or something like that. They're always super early because they're in the UAE. So and that's why he's fighting out here, because he always fights out in this area. So I think with his career, I only broke that down, y'all, because like now, fast forward, he's in the UFC now. He gets here in 2023. He gets Trevor Peek in his debut. You feel me? Now, if anyone knows who Trevor Peek is, like he's a good fighter, of course. He leads with his chin. His chin is his fist. Like he's like that's it. Like he doesn't really have much defense. And the fact that he lost to Trevor Peek, not saying Peek's not a good fighter, but I think I feel like Yahya had a lot of hype coming out of the UAE Warriors with his background, with being a champion. And I feel like, the fact he lost to a dude that he was supposed to be better, like he really just made it dirty on Yahya. And the fact that the game plan worked, it was a bad omen. And I'm really, really high on Cowboy Fernandez. He's a great fighter, in my opinion. I think he's super underrated. And now he's fighting Stephen Nguyen, which I think is a massive step down. And the fact that he's a plus like 400 underdog is like, that's like crazy, man. I do think that Nguyen has looked better in the UFC. He was on Contender Series 3 times. 3 times, so that shit was crazy. But I mean, because neither of these guys have a UFC win yet, you feel me? So one of these guys has to get a win. It's really about who you think has better potential. Like he had a fight of the night against Jarno Aarons, and I think Jarno Aarons is a really good fighter. So I guess I'll go with Stephen Nguyen to win this fight. But I do think Yaya's a live dog in this fight. I think this fight will be close. Both fighters know they need to win this fight, especially Yaya. So, but I'm gonna go with Stephen Nguyen in this fight to win this fight via decision.
I like it.
Yeah, man, and like it's crazy, like because these dudes really. I just like it how that really does show you the UFC really is like a massive step up as soon as you touch down. You feel, of course, you might find another dude who's a layup or whatever. When you fight someone who's really been here for like a few years, that's why when you have those dudes like Dustin, bro, who just retired, those dudes, you came in 2011, so WEC 2010. So when you have guys who've been here 15 years on the roster, bro, like it's the NBA or something like that. That shit's crazy. You don't just spend 15 years in the NBA. I'm not even being disrespectful. I think 15 years in the NBA is easier than 15 years in the UFC.
Well, dude, these just sign contracts at 4 or 6 fights in a row, and you're fighting if you're active twice a year.
It's like
you're not. That's 6 years, so you're renegotiating 3 contracts in the UFC. That's hefty. That's hefty. You're lucky if you make it. A lot of dudes, they miss that second contract. They get that first UFC contract, get sent out for that second contract, and they get to come back later in their career for that third contract. We see that a
Right.
lot. I mean, shit, that might be what's happening to the flyweight. You know who I'm talking about. Mokaev, dude. That might
Oh
be what's
yeah.
happening to Mokaev, bro. He
Muhammad.
might not get into this UFC till later in his career. We don't know.
I mean, they cut him. He might not ever come back, especially after that whole Manel Cop situation. Dana said he wasn't trying to bring him back, but like Dana said shit before, and I think like if he sees he's making a lot of money on the regional
Dana will be
scene
retired by the time Mokaev's in his prime.
in his prime, Dana.
That's still like
I
7 years down the line. That dude's young. He's like 22.
don't think Dana retires. So Dana's like 75, bro. Bruce Buffer is
A
67.
lot of people say Dana's been pushing himself further and further away from this sport.
I don't know. I think he likes mountains to climb, and that White House shit that's gonna reinvigorate Dana for the next 10 years. I feel like pulling that shit off. But yeah, moving on though up the card. Got 205ers. I won't spend too much longer on this one because I do think Ibo Aslan is gonna knock Billy out. I was gonna go with Ibo by a first round KO to win this matchup. He's super aggressive. We all know this. And I think he's the better fighter than Billy. I think he's the better boxer, has better power, and I think they're gonna strike. And when they exchange, I think Ibo's gonna KO him in the first round, most definitely.
Yep, I got Ibo Aslan to win this one in the distance. I like the first round bet. That's probably the best way to pick it, but I'll say within the distance. Aslan has been out grappled in 2 fights now, but I think he has the chance to just hurt Billy on the feet in this one. The thing with Billy, I mean, you saw, I think it was the Guskov fight. Dude, he like gave up in that fight. He was getting, beat up, and then he just kneeled against the cage as Guskov backed up, and he just stood there and kneeled against the cage like, what's happening? What's happening? And then Guskov came in and finished it. Yeah, and it's not even like saying he has like a quitter's mentality, but dude, Ibo Aslan's a dangerous guy on the feet.
Calling him a quitter.
And I'm not even calling him a quitter, but it's just saying like Ibo's a dangerous guy on the feet, and I mean, unless Billy's able to out grapple, Ibo Aslan, it's going to be a very tough night. Probably does get knocked out in this one.
Nah, I feel you. I mean, I just think that Ibo he's faced a way better competition. I think he's looked better overall after doing the film study.
But we only saw Billy on the short notice fight, so it's can't fully judge him on it. But what else could we do? So.
Nah, you're right. I agree. Nah, hey man, he could go out here. He could be a feature champ.
Kick ass,
He come out here. He could fuck him up. You feel me? We have no idea. Nah, I got Ibo though, more for a first round knockout. I think it's gonna be a fun card, man. I think it's gonna be a good card tomorrow. It's cool how we do these on Friday. We always our normal days, y'all, are Wednesdays. But
that
I
never
do like
happens anymore. It's just Wednesdays just get screwed.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy with like the events that always take place behind the scenes. I was gonna say with Fridays, it's cool how we do get to talk about like the fights on like the night before, especially like before pay-per-views. I do enjoy that because I work hella. My job is always hella busy on Fridays, so when I get out, I take that shower. I'm just waiting for the fights tomorrow. It's cool like to chill with talk with the homies about the fights. Before the the day of. I just really like doing that. Plus, it's kind of a tease when you're breaking the fights down like 6 days prior. But now we're breaking them down, the day before. I mean, just got one more sleep before these bad boys. But moving up the card, Amanda Ribas versus Tabitha Ricci. I actually want to hear what you have to say first about this one.
Got you. Well, I was pretty torn on who to pick. I mean, the fight, I have a pretty good idea how it plays out. For one, we know Ricci's the UFC fan favorite. I do think if it's a very, very close fight, the judges would favor her. I think Dana just got a little slide in there, a little $100 down the table. It slides across down to the judges. But like even said, I think it's a very close matchup, dude. Both girls have shown struggle in their rise of competition. They both have stole some great wins, but they have some very tough losses at this point. Dude, when you look at it, I mean, I'll pull it up real quick. Vegas and the fans are against each other. Ricci is the favorite here, but they got Ribas winning at Vegas, so it's a little bit of a split there. Ribas, well, we know with her that she's an active fighter, high volume, and she moves a lot. Whereas Ricci, she's searching for that takedown all fight. She's looking to get you against the cage, take you down. it's very 50-50. I really didn't know how to pick. I was gonna take Ribas to win by a decision. I think she could just win 2 rounds confidently. Maybe if she, stuff in the takedown, I feel like is more likely than Ricci winning on the feet. So yeah, I'm gonna take Ribas to win this one by decision.
Yeah, man, we're agreeing again. I was gonna go with Amanda Ribas again. I think it's another case of her fighting way better competition. She's fought Viviane Araujo. She fought Rose Namajunas. She fought Caitlin Chikagian. She beat Viviane Araujo. She lost to Macy Barber in a dogfight. It's unfortunate, bro. I thought she was looking good in the Barber fight. She just got wrapped up in the war, like in the brawl, and like that head kick was like a baseball bat, and like it just like. Cause she was looking good in that fight, man. I really thought she could have won that shit. Because before that, with that Caitlin Chikagian, now Caitlin Seminara, you could see it was a split decision. She was this fucking close, man. Because she really almost went up a division and almost beat the number 1 contender out of nowhere. Like she could have fought for the belt after that, and they would have loved to put Ribas in a big spot. She's gorgeous. She's still young. At 31 years old, she's still young at 31. I think she's getting in her prime right now after being here for so long. She's 7-5 in the UFC. So many people don't have 10 plus fights. And it's again, how I just said, fighters being in the UFC for 15 years. That's not a rarity. That's like for legends and veterans, Matt Browns, Jim Millers, Dustins, Maxes, John Jones. People like that, staples of the UFC. But you have like your veterans though, like like Amanda Ribas, like I want to say like a Brad Tavares, dudes who casually have like Jake Matthews, you feel me? Like he has his UFC record's like 15-7. He's been here a long ass time, you feel me? So and like she's been here for a long time at this point, Amanda Ribas. Like she made her debut in 2000. She was supposed to make her debut in 2017. She didn't make it until 2019. So she's been here 6 years at this point, bro. So she's been here. I was in college, graduate, and now she's still here. You feel me? So, and of course, it's been a long time since she was on that win streak from 2016 to 2020. Where she got wins over Mackenzie Dern, Emily Whitmire, Jennifer Gonzalez. You feel me? But yeah, and also that win over Verna Jandiroba still looks really good. Even 4 years later, that win looks great after beating Verna Jandiroba. So I think she's still a good fighter. She could get that rematch if Jandiroba doesn't get a title fight. They could certainly give her that rematch because we don't know what's going on with Wei Li. Wei Li might go up and fight Valentina Shevchenko. Literally, it's been radio silence.
It has been quiet. It has been very quiet.
In the strawweight division. So we'll see what goes on with Zhang. I'll still watching her fight. That's really how it normally goes. She'll creep, she'll come out, defend her belt by once.
I think the December Vegas card, I think she'll be the co-main on that card, and then you'll have a title fight on the whoever. Maybe they'll do Pantoja and they'll do Wei Li or something like that. But I think a double pay-per-view or double championship December card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could see that happening for sure. Like if that, nah, not Chicago. That's way too fucking late. It's short notice. Nah, you're right. Probably end of the year. She'll usually fight around then. When was the last time she fought Wei Li? It was in Australia. That was in September. That was through UFC 312. So was that in September? UFC? Yeah, February. That was in February. Because 311 was in January. With the Islam and the Moicano shit. So, yeah. But I got Amanda Ribas to win this fight via decision. I think she'll pick her apart in the feet. Not pick her apart. She'll really jab her up. Stuff to take down. Just be the bigger girl and get the victory. It's funny seeing Amanda be the bigger girl at 5'3". Forever going to say, they should have an atom weight division. We just saw Loma Lookboonmee get another fight scheduled herself. And, she would literally be the champion if there was an atomweight division. And I think multiple people always say that as well. Loma Lookboonmee, she's still improving at 5'1", small girl. But yeah, who you picking first in the Mont Blanchet versus Dangerous Davy Grant? It's a close fight.
Dude, I got Blackshear winning this one by sub, dude. I think Blackshear has been looking pretty good recently. We all know that he has that submission threat very good with his jiu-jitsu. But in his past few, that striking has been getting put together a little bit. He's looking like a complete mixed martial artist, I would say. Davy Grant still got it, 39 years old and going, so let's go over there. 39 and a half, like you like to call it out. But dude, 13 UFC fights under his belt is a lot of experience he has. So I wouldn't count him out at all in this one. We just know Blackshear has the submission threat, grappling advantage in this one. And with this improvement to his striking, I just think he's a well-rounded fighter. So I think that's going to make his grappling even more of a threat now that he can stand and bang with you a little bit. He could set up his takedowns even better because now you have to worry about blocking your face. And it's as simple as that. You worry about blocking your face, you can't guard your legs. So I like Blackshear in this one for a sub. How you feeling?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, I think it's a close fight, most definitely. But I do have Damon Blackshear as well. I think he'll get a second round submission. We've seen this guy get a twister before. He's a really, really, really high level BJJ artist. Um, and yeah, man, David, I can't even use the age component of the fight because Davy Grant, he's definitely aging backwards, in my opinion. He continues to look good even at 39 years old. The Daniel Marcos loss, that was super, super close. That was literally a split decision. He could be on a 4-5 win streak at 39 years old, Davy Grant. So age is irrelevant. I just think for Blackshear, he's been looking good. The wins over
Yeah. Sorry, my bad.
Alate, they're fine. Wins over Cody Simpson and Cody Stamen. So I needed that Blackshear to come out here and get the victory as well.
I like it.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely. And then moving on up the card, I forgot this fight was happening. I'm not gonna lie to you. Carlos Leal versus Muslim Salikov. Yeah, man. Even like getting the betting odds for this, like Carlos Leal is minus 500 fucking favorite, man. Like, I think everyone was really sold on him after that Renat Fakhretdinov win. Notice how I said win. It was really sad to see him lose that fight. That was really, really sad, bro. Like, he straight up won that fight. Everyone knew it. And like just because they were in Abu Dhabi, like they robbed him that night. And everyone on Twitter was just saying they were getting sick of the Abu Dhabi shit. Because like that shit was just ridiculous. Like, I'm pretty sure that was most definitely in yeah, that was Topuria versus Holloway, UFC 308. It's a pay-per-view in Abu Dhabi. Most definitely. It was a bullshit decision. It took, it changes the trajectory of a fighter's life, not just his record, like the money he was gonna use that for. It's just like come on, you feel me? But they gave him Alex Morono his next fight because they did want to give him that fight back, and he took it in March. So he was off for a little bit, and he knocked out Alex Morono in the first round, unfortunately for Morono. And but yeah, he's coming up this time fighting way older now, Muslim Salikov. Obviously he's a phenomenal striker, the king of kung fu. Really does use not kung fu style, but it's really likes to do a bunch of spin kicks. Will actually utilize the spinning kicks. He actually got a wheel kick knockout against Kanong Song in his last fight, which is gorgeous. So she was beautiful. Still getting that done. He is on a 2-fight win streak. Even at 41 years old now for Muslim Salikov. Jesus Christ. Yeah, man. Like, I just think he keeps himself in great shape, and he still likes to compete. You can see even this typology picture right there. He's had a real illustrious career throughout his mixed martial arts career, just with his striking career in general, like kickboxing and stuff like that. And his Sanda career, back in like the mid 2000s, he was really, really good. He won the Sanda tournament finals in 2006. So it's a super, super, super illustrious career for Muslim Salikov. But I just think that the time's passed him by at this point, and I do think that Carlos Leal can knock him out. We saw Randy Brown knock him out on the feet as well, and I think Carlos Leal has been a monster ever since touching down. He really should be Renat Fakhretdinov. He has a hard style to beat with great takedown defense and great boxing himself. So I got Carlos Leal to win this fight. You can see that picture on Topology. He is damn near, I don't want to say specimen, but definitely a big guy, shredded for sure for the division. Even looking at how these guys match up in the matchup, like they're actually pretty even, 5'11", 170 pounds, but he does have a 2.5, a 2-inch reach advantage. So, and I think he's the overall more aggressive fighter, and yeah, he's 10 years younger. So, I got Carlos Yada to knock him out in the second round. I mean,
All right. I got Liao winning, but I think it's going to be a decision. Dude, Liao's a good fighter. He sticks to what he's good at. He's a simple fighter, but he's effective. He doesn't do anything crazy. He doesn't extend. Like, he doesn't do more than he needs to do. He's just a high pressure fighter. Marches forward all fight. Stays behind his jab, 1-2s. Like I said, very simple. He just flushes you with punches. So I don't think Salikov will really be able to get going in this fight. I think it's just going to be a tough fight for him. I just don't think the danger is going to be able to come out with the way Liao fights. And yeah, that age gap is pretty big. But I'm going to take Liao to win this one by decision.
Right. Yeah, man. Me and you both. So I got the knockout, but we'll see. Yeah, man. Moving up the ladder. Who do you have in this fight, man? Obviously, this is a really interesting matchup with Bryce Mitchell making his bantamweight debut, cutting 10 pounds at 30 years old. Still young for Bryce Mitchell. So this could be a new chapter in his career. I don't think the UFC cut him. If they wanted to cut him, they would have cut him
after his incident.
At this point. So I still think they like Bryce Mitchell. It just really fucked up with that. It's unfortunate. Still the second ever fighter to receive custom shorts from the Ultimate Fighting Championship, right behind one notorious Conor McGregor. So most definitely a beloved fighter. At least definitely was, especially was back then, for sure. So yeah, man, who do you have winning this fight? I'm gonna go with you first.
I like Bryce Mitchell. I gotta be honest, dude. I think he's a very skilled mixed martial artist. We know he's moving down to 135 in this fight. We saw in his last fight against Gene Silva, he had a lot of trouble bringing Gene Silva down to the ground. So maybe the big reasoning behind going down to 135 is he doesn't have a lot of brute muscle. He's strong, but he doesn't have a lot of muscle, he feels, and he wants to fight a smaller opponent that a weight class he knows he could still cut down to. So, I mean, looking at it, he's the bigger fighter here. He's 2 inches taller. He'll probably look bigger in the cage, a little wider. We know what Saeed is. He's a very skilled fighter, not related to Khabib. Everyone's got to let you know. His big things, we all know he has those front chokes. He's slick. It's the guillotine, the ninja choke that you got to worry about with him.
Nope.
But I think Mitchell's just good. I think Mitchell's good on the feet. I think he has good jiu-jitsu. He doesn't fall into those subs. We saw with the Kron Gracie fight. He's not going to just let you sub him just because you have good subs. I mean, he's a tough dude to beat. He looked competitive against Ilia Topuria. I'm always going to hold him to that standard. I think Bryce Mitchell's a good fighter. At the end of the day, you don't got to like him to respect how good he is. That Jean Silva fight, that dude was fucked up mentally and physically. That did not look like a normal Bryce Mitchell fight at all.
Just dealing with all that, man.
It just didn't. Yeah, he was hurt. The fans were getting in his head. He was trying to defend himself. He's trying to defend himself against other people. Couldn't defend himself in the cage. So, yeah, I'm going to take Bryce Mitchell to win this one by decision. Also, we got to remember Saeed does have a very bad cardio. He was gassing in that Oliveira fight. So, and it's the same arena he's fighting in now. So,
yeah, I think he really often fights in America. He really only fights in the Saudi Middle Eastern region. When they go to Saudi Arabia, when they go to Abu Dhabi, he really only fights on those cards. But I like that too. When they go to Mexico, there's certain fighters that can only fight in Mexico that they have on the roster. So they got to get them paid too. So they got to go to their region of the world, most definitely. So it is cool to see they're so deep that they have all different fighters in the pocket of the world where they can have a fully international card if they want to, not a single American on the card. That's what it was designed to be from the very beginning. All these different flags versus other flags. And yeah, man, that's the Ultimate Fighting Championship. I love that shit, man. But yeah, I was going to go with Bryce via decision. Really just come out here and play no games. Use his striking just to set up the takedowns like he normally does. He can box. He does have pretty good pop in his hands. We did see him drop Edson Barboza. I don't care if Barboza was damn near 40. It's still Edson Barboza. He still dropped him on like a high level striker. And a lot of people had Bryce Mitchell getting picked apart in that fight, and that wasn't the case in the slightest. You feel me? So yeah, man. Like I was gonna go with Bryce Mitchell to win the fight via decision. It's gonna be close. It's gonna be a close fight for Bryce, especially having to like focus on the weight cut first, then focus on the fight afterwards. So, I'm pretty. Like I said, it's Friday, so um, he made it. So I mean, like, hopefully, like everything's going good for him. Hopefully, like he didn't have to kill himself too much to really make the weight. Going down to 136, he made it. Like, so I'm happy for Bryce. I'll be gonna shut. I can't say the haters up because people felt how they felt, justfully, rightfully so. So, but yeah, I just hope he can put on a good performance in this fight and remind people who he really is. What he's famous for, being a world class martial artist from Arkansas, most definitely. But yeah, moving on up the card. Yeah, man, you got Nikita Krylov versus Bogdan Guskov. Every time I see this dude, he really does look like Anthony Smith. Every time I see this dude, I'm not even joking. Yeah, man. So, I won't spend too much time on this one either, man. I think this one, like for me, I'm feeling pretty good about this pick. I do have the minor to win this fight. I do have Nikita Krylov. He's a good fighter, man. He's still only 33 years old at like heavyweight. Light heavyweight. He's still only 33 years old. And his birthday's in July 3rd. So he just turned 33. He's literally entering his prime right now. This guy could still climb the rankings to be champion by 35 if he wanted to. He's 11-8 in the UFC, but don't let that record fool you. It's really been a bunch of IQ mistakes for Nikita Krylov, unfortunately. He went toe to toe with the champion. Um, he lost a decision. Got knocked out by Dominic Reyes. I picked Reyes to knock him out in that fight. I just think Reyes has always been a great fighter. He loses he just lost a few fights. And I think we're seeing the resurgence of Dominic Reyes. You feel me? We're going to see, like who he might get next, But I do think that Reyes has always been a great fighter. He's 15-4 now. He's 35 himself. So Reyes himself still has time. He's 9-4 in the UFC, and all those 4 losses came all consecutively. So he's back on the horse now on a 3-fight win streak, and like he had to just learn from that, man. I think he's like Dominic's ranked like number 8 right now, so he's just trying to climb back up there. You feel me? So. And I only say that to say that it's not a really bad loss. I gotta get it. It looked bad, with him, stepping back and knocking him out. I just think he put his chin up on a platter for him to get knocked out by Dominic Reyes.
He just rushed in. That's all it was.
And like it was just unfortunate, But I think he'll definitely learn from that mistake 100%. Getting knocked out in the first round on a pay-per-view main card. You have to learn from that. You have no choice if you want to stay here and have a career here. And yeah, I mean, I got Nikita Krylov to win the fight via second round submission. I think he will get the sub. Most of his wins are by submission. He has 16 wins by submission in his career. So I think he'll get a second round submission in this fight.
All right. I'm going to take Krylov, but I'm going to take him by decision in this one. Like you said perfectly, he was on that 3-fight win streak before his loss to Reyes, and that was simply because he shot in and got caught. Happens. MMA, it's how it works. Yeah, I mean, you said it all. A lot of submission wins, average striker. I think he could get it done in this one.
It was some good wins too, man. Like he knocked out Alexander Gustafsson. Of course, we can't even count that. That was a shell of his former self, 100%. But he beat Volkan Ozdemir by decision in 2022, and then he got that win over Ryan Spann in 2023. That was just 2 years ago, man. And Spann just got a submission like last weekend. So up at heavyweight, of course, that was Lucas Bresky and shit. But like it's still he still has a pretty good resume, and he's still above 500 fighter. So hopefully he can come out here and get to 12-8 in this UFC record. But moving on up the card. Yeah, I mean, so Asu Amabaya versus Jose Ochoa. I saw this Ochoa guy. He obliterated Cody Durden's chin in the State Farm Arena during the UFC Atlanta card. He really sucked the air out of the card, man. When I mean, like I can't say that because people were lit just to see a knockout. But this guy is really really legit. I really like Jose Ochoa. Um, I think he's good, man. Most definitely. I think he's still just improving at a young age, the young Peruvian. And I think they need more fighters from that region. He's 8-1. And I think he's gonna continue to improve. Um, he was like a he was like a plus 400 underdog, and he closed damn near as the favorite. It's almost a pick'em fight. This fight is. He's taking this fight on short notice. That's really the only red flag for anyone picking Ochoa. But he's coming off a great knockout 1 month ago, so that's why he's getting right back in there. Didn't take much damage in the slightest. So he is a good striker, good submission artist too. And I think I saw him a buy. If he was indeed getting eye poked by Manel Cop, but the ref didn't see it, the ref didn't call it. So I do think Amabayev is still a pretty good fighter. I just think he doesn't have the best, most fan-friendly style at all. To be quite honest with you, like his last few wins, he choked out Ode Osborne. But his last few wins have all been by decision. Even not finishing Mateus Nicolau, who's notorious for getting knocked out. So I think for this will be a close fight, but it's really a clash of styles, depending on who y'all favor, strikers or grapplers and shit. I got Jose Ochoa to win the 5-8 decision. I think he'll keep the fight on the feet. He has a really good sprawl. Like I said, if he hits the fight, he has a really good submission game too. He's young, super athletic. He has the reach advantage. He's also taller. He's just a bigger man in general. And I think he can win the fight, just off, good grappling defense and having better striking in this fight.
All right, so we do have a split because I'm taking Asu Amabayev to win this one by ground and pound or by decision. Dude, Asu Amabayev has elite wrestling. We know that. I think once he gets a hold of him, I think that's when the fight ends. On the feet, obviously Ochoa, he obviously does have the advantage. He has high volume. He has nasty power. As
just kind of disrespectful, like the betting odds, man.
We just got to see the. You think it's the betting odds are disrespectful? It's even.
No, I'm saying like what would the betting odds indicate it's a close fight.
I think it's because of the style of matchups. I think until the fight gets brought to the ground, I mean it's Ochoa's fight to win standing. I just think for 15 minutes, can you hold Asu Amabayev from getting a hold of your legs and getting to you? Even if it ends up on the cage, he trips. That's when the fight ends, dude. Because once he gets on top of you, even if it's a back mount or anything, he's gonna the ground and pound. His ground and pound is sick, dude, and it's gonna force you into worse and worse positions. And I think Asu Amabayev has this one. And at these lines, I would definitely bet on Asu on this one.
Nah, for sure. Nah, man, it's a great fight. It's gonna be close. In front of a crowd at that, man. So can't forget there are fans in attendance. We're gonna have a good night. Good afternoon, I should say. I always love watching the fan cards. Of course, makes it feel like a real sporting event, Yeah, man. Rashard Bullet versus Marc-Andre Barriault. Take a picture with this guy. Back at UFC 285, he fought on that card. John Jones versus Shogun. He was there. He was drunk in the lobby, but of course he deserved it. He won that fight. I forgot who he beat that night. At UFC 285, it was a pretty good win.
Eric Anders.
Yeah. I think it might have been Eric Anders, most definitely. If you want to double check that, it was a UFC 285.
No, it was Julian Marquez.
Yeah, Julian Marquez. Okay, yeah, that was a war. That was a war, and he finished him up against the cage with some clinch strikes. Similar to his win against Bruno Silva. Looking back on it, it's pretty funny. But yeah, this guy, he's a pretty nice guy and he's a good fighter too. I think he has a hard matchup in this one though, fighting a guy who's a really good striker. Obviously with Rashard Bullet, we see what's going on here. They're really giving him strikers. He lost to a striker last fight, unfortunately. He lost his UFC O. He lost his O in general. I mean, he wasn't defeated. I forgot He did lose its O, but it's MVP. He's a good striker. Super unorthodox. He's still 4-1 inside the UFC. It's just it definitely put a cap on what he can do, and he's yet to fight in America. So, if they can't get him on a United States pay-per-view, it's gonna be hard to really put him in the race for the title or anything like that. So they really just keep giving him fun fights and stuff like that over in the Middle East, and it's really all we can ask for at this point. It's just to watch him compete. So, like I said, he lost by decision to Malcolm Page. Before then, he KO'd Armor Petrosian with a beautiful double spinning back fist. Beat Michael Oleksiejczuk, which looking back on it, it's a pretty good win for him. And knocked out Antonio Tricoli, which isn't a good one at all, to be real. So for this, I just think, Marc-Andre Barrios, he has taken a lot of damage. We've seen him knocked out. Chidi Njokuani knocked him out like in 16 seconds. That shit was crazy. That shit was crazy. The former TKO double champion. He knocked him out. Like his chin, he's put him to sleep in the craziest fashion. And like you see, like he's still a pretty good fighter, but I think we've seen that he can be put away. And I think he's fighting a really good striker in this matchup. So I was gonna go with Shara Bullet to win this fight. Honestly, I think he can finish him. I'll go with a third round TKO for Shara Bullet Magomedov. Shara Budin Magomedov, for those who don't really know.
The Pirate. Yeah, dude. First and foremost, I think anyone betting this weekend should not bet on this fight. I think this is a trap. Being said, I do like Shara Bullet to win, but at these odds, I don't like how close the fight's going to be. Marc-Andre, he is one of those annoying, like Sean Strickland kind of fighters who's just going to walk forward the whole fight, jab cross, and he's a hard dude to fight because of how consistent he is. He's definitely a good fighter. So like starting with that, he's definitely a good fighter. He has the chance to win this fight for sure. He throws quick. He's going to walk forward the whole fight. He's not going to gas out compared to Shara, who probably will gas out later in the fight. And also Mark has very good pressure. If Mark was to win this one, it's going to be a decision. I don't think he'll put out Shara Bullet. Shara has really bad cardio, but as we know, he fights with his legs, not his hands. His lead weapon is his legs. He kicks more than he punches in a fight. Super dangerous striker, as we know, has the knockout power. He obviously did, fight with his hands. He got that spinning back fist, one of the greatest knockouts we've ever seen for sure.
Yeah.
The thing with Shara Bullet, though, he only could really fight at a certain range. Anything outside of that range, we saw in the MVP fight, he's just a non-factor of a fighter. He's not good at closing the distance, Shara Bullet. This fight's going to be different. They're very similar. They're 1 inch off in height and reach. I think Shara Bullet's going to be the bigger fighter here. So it should be better for him and an advantage. But he's going to be on his back foot a lot. It's going to be hard to throw as many kicks as he does. As quick as they are, I think it's going to be a little harder to throw those kicks. I think he's going to have to rely on his hands a lot more. They're saying Barrios going to wrestle. That would be if he wrestles, I have very much confidence he could win this fight even more. But yeah, like I said, it's going to be hard to throw kicks off the back foot so much. There's the chance to catch him, and Mark could walk right into a head kick knockout. But I'm going to take Shara Bullet just because of how dangerous he is. But I would not bet this. Like I said, I would not bet this because I do think Mark has the chance to steal it. It makes sense why he would steal it, dude. It really does. This is an annoying matchup.
I get it. No, it's close for sure. I can't wait. I think it will be a war, but it's gonna test Shara. And I feel Luis. Like that's why I was saying before you joined, Luis. I'm like, where does he really go from here? Like, what's like the goal? I get he's gonna have fun fights and stuff, but if they can't get that visa cleared or anything, like they can't get him on a pay-per-view out here. He can't.
There's another Said Nurmagomedov at that point. Just fights in Abu Dhabi.
Like they're not gonna get it. He can't really meet the fans. He went out to LA to shoot a movie apparently at one point, like last year. So I just think for competition, he can't get approved overseas to fight, unfortunately. So it sucks, man. I hope he actually can find out a way to really get him over there, so they can get him on a North American pay-per-view. The moment they do that, they'll get him a ranked opponent so fast and try to get him up there. And what, he's still pretty young, man. So Charbudin, so we'll see. But like I said, I think his ceiling might be capped as of right now with just fights like these. Moving on from here on out, we're moving up the card to our co-main event of the evening. This was supposed to be the feature bout. We were supposed to have Aaron Pico versus Mobstar Evloev, and that was the 5-round co-main event. But that's getting rebooked, and we'll see what fight that ends up on. I was excited to see Aaron Pico, just about how he was, because he was just saying, man, like, he has better boxing than Ilya Topuria. He's not gonna stand a chance. Like, he wasn't being cocky, but he was just saying, like, I just think his boxing doesn't compare, to be honest. Like, he's saying that during like his introductory press conference, like during like with John Anik and shit. So I really did want to see Aaron Pico versus Mobstar, but it's whatever. Like, they moved Mobstar, so they are gonna keep that fight. They want to give Pico that matchup. So we'll see, man. We'll step. But going into this one, Marcus Migo versus Piotr Yan, you can get the first pick. I actually want to hear what you got to say about this one.
Let's do it. I think I'm going to be going with Peter Yan in this one. Just like last fight, for my betting advice is I wouldn't bet this one right now. I'd wait till the first round is over to place your bet, because 375 you're already playing at bad odds, so you want to make sure Jan's going to secure this fight with the first round if you're going to bet on this one. Damn, Marcus McGee, first things first, like, his age is deceiving, because the hype he gets around his name, it's not like he's like a superstar or nothing, but the hype he gets around his name, you'd forget that he's like a veteran at this point. And he's old. Like, you'd think he's like 26 the way he like is talked about. You know, it feels like he's younger than he is. But he's definitely had a turning point in his career, and he's definitely a really good fighter.
He's in his prime.
Yep, he's at MMA Lab. You know, he's training down there with them boys in Arizona. This matchup is a big step up, and it's a scary one. He's fighting the Boogeyman. There's a few Boogeymans in 135. It's kind of crazy. There's like a few, like at least 3 or 4 Boogeymen in that division that you just don't want to fight. But Yan is the nightmare matchup of that whole division. No one wants to fight him. I know it's Restless Nights. I know it's Restless Nights having to fight him. He has excellent Muay Thai, and he just cuts off every angle that you try and move around the cage. Whereas Marcus McGee, he's fights you straight, jumps in, throws, and jumps out. When Yan cuts off angles, it's going to be very hard to do that, you know, in the second and third round once he discovers distance. I think McGee's going to be much bigger in the cage, and he hits really hard, so I think he has the chance to win this one if he were to be able to put out Yan, damage him, hurt him. But I like Yan. I like his output. I like his speed. I like how he follows up with kicks. You know, not a lot of fighters are that good at following up a 3-punch combination with a kick, and that's what makes Yan so dangerous. I like Peter Yan in this one, dude, a lot. I have him winning this one by a decision. The former champ. The former champ.
Oh, yeah, for sure, man. You damn near say future Hall of Famer. He was 2-time champion if you count the interim title. Just crazy, man. Like, you know, the whole Aljamain Sterling shit. Like, it is what it is. I thought Aljo won the rematch. The first fight is what it is. Like, I do blame Yan for that. Like, he broke the rules, and like, just unfortunate, man. We had never had a champion lose his belt by disqualification. You know, it's the first one ever. That shit was crazy. You know, looking back on it. This fight is super perplexing, but you know, Piotr Yan is a massive favorite when it comes down to it. I just think they're betting on potential with Marcus McGee, and they wouldn't mind having him up there in the top 3, to be real. You know, great striker, great wrestler, great, you know, he's pretty well rounded himself, really athletic at 30. And it's so funny, like, at 35, like, this man is literally in his prime. Like, that's what he's performing like. So, at a really fast level, you can really thank the fact that he's only 10-1 in his career. Even digging into his career a little bit more, his only loss was to Rafael do Nascimento. And that dude's 10-3 right now, and he has a fight coming up tomorrow. Actually, he fights on the LFA card. He fights Arnold Jimenez tomorrow in LFA tomorrow night. So like the only dude to beat Marcus McGee, his dude, the dude that beat him, and like yeah, like he fights. I think in the main event. Yeah, he fights in the main event of this LFA card tomorrow. So this dude's fighting in the co-main event of a UFC card, and the dude that beat him is fighting in the main event of an LFA card. Just crazy how that shit works out. Most definitely. And Luis said sharpshooter on McGee, I fear. Yeah, man. Some people are feeling him, and I think he's gonna come out here and surprise. For me, it's just like, is he gonna gas out? I don't know if Jan's physically stronger. We'll see if Jan's the better striker. But because we know Jan does not get finished just like that in the slightest, in my opinion. And McGee, like, McGee has been finishing people. Like when he finished Gaston Bolaños, knocked out JP Base. I get it. Journey News, these guys aren't even in the UFC anymore. But I think it's more so about what he's shown. And like the Jonathan Martinez win was a pretty good win in my opinion. He was fading in the third round a little bit, but that was a good win in my opinion. And like at 35, he's gonna continue. He's gonna grow a lot from fight to fight. Being like an older prospect, I do consider him a prospect even at 35. I know people like to hate on that. I don't get why. Like, he's still a martial artist. I consider him a prospect at 35. Most certainly. I just think he's fighting someone who's faced way better competition. Like Petr Yan, like he's fought Davis Figueiredo, Corey Sandhagen, Aljamain twice. He fought Merab Dvalishvili. He's fought so many people throughout his career at this point, and like he's the UFC veteran. He's the future Hall of Famer. So, of course, McGee could rise to the occasion. He could get the victory. It'd be super cool to see him get the win, man. Like, he seems like a nice guy. It'd be a fresh face, but we end up losing one of the dudes who've been one of the, in the cast of characters for the last few years now at this point, Petr Yan. He's been here since like 2018 at this point. So, Petr Yan, so he's been here for a real long time. Won the belt at 27. It's crazy to see his age now. So, but yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes. I wasn't gonna go with Jan to win this fight via decision. He's faced way better competition throughout his career, but we'll see if McGee can prove everyone wrong and get the win here. He knows he's being counted out, so he knows it's a massive step up, and we'll see how he handles it tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon. This fight's gonna be around like 4:30, something like that. Nah, the main card starts at 3. So this will be around like 5:30, 6 p.m. at night when this fight happens. That's crazy, ain't it? Like the card's still gonna it's gonna start at 12, but the shit's still gonna end.
I'll be at the gym training when this is on. I'm going right to a party, and they're gonna have the fight on over there. So hopefully, I get to watch the co-main and the main event over there.
Most definitely. And yep, going into the main event, last fight of the evening, most definitely. Robert the Reaper Whittaker versus Rainer the Dutch Knight de Ridder. You know how I like to do the main event. I would love to break down RDR. I'll let you do the future Hall of Famer, former 2-time champion, interim champion, and undisputed champion, Robert the Reaper Whittaker.
For sure. We got Bobby Knuckles over here, a beast, dude, a beast. Still young, isn't he? 32 years old still.
So in his prime.
34. 34. Okay, 34. I've been calling him 32 for 2 years, so that makes sense why. But man, dude, he's been around for a while. He came to the UFC in 2012.
Like 20 years
2025. So he's a 13-year career at this point. Worked his way up to the belt. Beat a lot of dudes, a lot of names we still see. Had a banger with Yoel Romero over here. Adesanya took the belt from him. Obviously saw that one. Dude, it's been a great career. He had those two wars with Adesanya.
And Yoel Romero.
He never had that fight with Michael Bisping, unfortunately.
And no one talks about Michael ducking, but continue.
No one talks about that. But I mean, Robert Whittaker at this point in the career, I think he's still one of the better fighters in the division. We know he just had that tough loss to Khamzat Chimaev where his jaw got ruined. And a few fights ago, we know he did get beat down by the champion, Dricus du Plessis. I've been seeing a lot of people, wondering is this fight going to look the same as the Dricus Duplessis fight? They think there might be some parity in this fight. It's possible. It definitely is. He's Dutch, the Dutch man. But yeah, I mean, Robert looked good. He beat Paulo Costa. There was a little bit of nerves in that first round. He almost got put out in that one. But a lot of people think it might look like the Dricus fight. I think it might look more like the Ikram fight. I think there's some with Robert, there's a respect level you got to give him for how much of an elite fighter he is, dude. He's one of the most technical guys, if we're being honest. Doesn't get talked enough. He might have some of the best footwork and some of the most technical striking in the UFC, and his name just flies by people's head, probably because he hasn't had that belt in so long. I think that might be the real reason. But yeah, dude, it's a simple dude. You got to respect Robert Whittaker. He's a great fighter. I'll let you get into Ritter right now. I'm really excited for that one.
Yeah, man. So for RDR, dude, I just I've been watching his career for a little bit now. When he was in one championship, I watched that whole thing. So crazy because like what he did to Ong La and Song when he took his belts at I think it was middleweight and light heavyweight. That literally got done to him by Anatoly Malikin. When Anatoly Malikin, he was the heavyweight champion. He went down to light heavyweight, then went down to middleweight, to beat him. If you could scroll down, please. I just want to make sure I got that right. And like yeah, so when you lost to Anatoly Malikin, you click on like the first one. You can just click on like the thing to pull up the fight weight and stuff like that when they first fought. So yeah, Reiner de Ridder was only 32 years old. You can see he was undefeated at that time. He was one of the hottest dudes, still is, But back then, of course, he had the aura of an undefeated fighter. He was the double champion, as you see in that picture in Topology. So he was really one of those dudes back then, most definitely. At only 32 years old, just turned 32. He was the double champion, one of the best middleweights in the world, top 5 for sure. Even though he wasn't in the UFC, I thought he could have came right in and like made an impact back then for sure. Obviously he hasn't declined now, but I thought he definitely was good back then when he was 32, a little younger. But we did see that Malikin came down and he took his belt, unfortunately. And he did finish him in the first round. I do remember that. That was pretty crazy. And you can pull up the second one, and like you can see everyone was picking De Ridder, and he still lost. That's when Malikin really made a name for himself on the first go around. And then he came down another weight class. That was at 205. This one was at middleweight, I believe. And this is when he came and took his other belts. So, like that shit was crazy. And it's crazy because these cards, if you could scroll down, I kind of want to see what time it started at. Yeah, it was super early in the morning. I was gonna say it was super super early on a Friday at that, because I watched it before I had to go to work at like 2:30 in the afternoon. I watched it and I went straight back to sleep. Because I knew it was a massive fight. Because you could see, like I said, you could see in that picture that Malikin was the heavyweight champion. He already had that belt. He took the light heavyweight, and then he was going for Reiner de Ridder's middleweight belt. We had never had a 3-weight champion in MMA before like that. Having literal all of them wrapped at the same time. It was pretty crazy. So yeah, man, like when they fought, it was just crazy to see like Reiner just get brutalized like that. And you can see he finished him again, really like gassed him out that second time around. It was just too much pressure. He was all over De Ridder, just wouldn't let him get any room, any breathing room at all. And after that, it was over. Like he left. That was the end of his tenure, his contract. He never tried to get a rematch, never, did any of that. He just left the belts to add one championship. And then he went on and moved on to the UFC, and that's where he is now. Obviously the striking isn't, it's not like the best, in terms of boxing and stuff like that, but he's a good Dutch striker, has good Dutch knee, good knees, good leg kicks. We saw that knee that finished Bo Nickel to the body, the way that he just put him out with the follow-up shots. And that was just beautiful precision, how he walked up on him and just landed it flush to the stomach like that. And yeah, man, like we do know that even in terms of the grappling, like he can be out grappled himself. Malakin did a pretty good job of using his physicality to get him to the ground. Ty Ruotolo, the brother of Cade Ruotolo, those two dudes are super high level. They're going to be in the UFC one day for sure. And that's like a whole nother era in the UFC. That's going to be like by 2029, something like that. It's like what, 2025? They won't come over to like 2030, something like that. They're gonna let them marinate in one championship a little bit more. They're like 21 and 20 respectively, so they're super young. They'll still be super young at that time when they come over. So they're getting better. They're both getting better with the hands and shit. And that was a red flag because that showed him get out muscled by a smaller guy like that. Which I think Robert's also a good wrestler himself at his body frame at 6 foot, even though RDR is taller at 6'3". So for this, I think Robert's the better striker, hands down. I do think that De Ridder is the better grappler. You can say that. I won't be like if he gets it down, it's like Robert's a fish out of water. But Rainer De Ridder can also strike with Robert as well. So it is going to be a pretty competitive fight from start to finish. I do believe that. I think if RDR wins this fight, he will. He'll probably be like one more away max from fighting for the title. It'd be a 5-fight win streak. Like I said with Corey Sandhagen, he would check all the boxes to fight for the belt. He'd be a 5-fight ranked fighter because he would take Robert's ranking as to the number 5 ranked middleweight. And that's what's still keeping Robert in title contention right now and being a former champion, most definitely. But if he takes that number 5 and he's on a 5-5 win streak with wins over Bo Nickel and Robert Whittaker, it'd be pretty hard to deny him of a title shot, I feel. But I think he'd have to get in line with the winner of Kyle Mahayo and Nasruddin Imavov, because I want to see the winner of that fight the winner of Dricus du Plessis versus Khamzat Chimaev. If Khamzat wins, Dricus is probably going to get an instant rematch.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing how he defended the belt against Israel. It's funny, Israel. Like he defended the belt against Israel and Sean Strickland. Look great in both wins. You feel me? So I do think that Dricus will get an instant rematch. It depends how he loses. If Khamzat just breaks his fucking neck with the submission, like if he chokes him out in the first round, I think they might see what money fights on the table. But I think they still think there's money. There's money in the Dricus fight. But I think that either way, the UFC 319 is going to change the landscape significantly, whether if Khamzat wins or if Dricus wins. So we're gonna see what happens, man. But we can't break that down right now. But we can go ahead and get to the picks. But just to round it out, like I said, it's even. Rainer does have the grappling advantage, while Robert has the striking advantage. And I think for RDR, like he's had an illustrious career, one of the greatest middleweights ever outside the UFC, and we're gonna see how he does here. And he's looked pretty good thus far coming in. He's undefeated inside the UFC. Where the best competition lies. So he's looking pretty good. He's only lost his 2 losses are to the same guy. So I mean, it is what it is. You feel me? So we'll just see how it goes, man. But you gave the first breakdown, so I'll let you get the first pick.
Let's do it. So since RDR's came over to the UFC, he's had an impressive run, 3-0, 3 finishes. A name value, it's good, but it's nothing to call home about, in my opinion. Gerald Meerschaert is, an average fighter. You have Kevin Holland, who's a 50-50 fighter. And then you have Bo Nickel, who, like I said earlier, he was waiting to be fraud checked. And that's not taken away from De Ridder at all. It's just calling a spade a spade. For Robert Whittaker, like I said, he has great movement, clean striking, and he manages his distance better than anyone that we've seen. Just a year ago, literally just a year ago, he was able to stop the rise of Ikram Askarov. So he's able to do what he should be able to do on Saturday. I do think RDR has a chance to win this one. I think there is a sub for him to find in this fight if he could, get it there. But dude, I'm so confident in the skill set of Rob. I think I'm gonna take Robert Whittaker to win this one by a knockout.
Woo! Okay. Yeah, man. We've seen him finish before. It has happened. Whether he gassed him out, he has been gassed out or straight up finished.
It's a 5-round fight, dude.
I agree. I think if he can't get the fight to the ground, he's gonna struggle out in deep water. I think Robert's made for that. He has championship experience all the way. So does RDR with those wins over Onla and Song and one championship. But this is, of course, we know Robert has faced the way better competition, fighting Israel Adesanya twice, Yoel Romero twice. He's fought Hamzat Chimaev. He's fought Dricus du Plessis. He's fought so many fighters. You know, he hasn't fought Sean Strickland yet. Unfortunately, that's the fight to make after this one. If he does lose this fight, but yeah, man. But we can't even do that because we saw that Sean Strickland is suspended indefinitely. That shit came back to bite him in the ass, man. That shit wasn't a game, man. He thought that shit was a game when he walked in that fucking cage, man. For real, when you're world class like that, when you're like, these dudes can understand, like, there's cameras watching you all the time when you're world class at, like, you know, top 3 ranked middleweight like that. Like, come on, man. So we'll see, man. But I was gonna go with Robert Whittaker to win this fight. I think it might not be a decision, man. He might be able to get like a 4th round TKO. I think he'll gas him out, stuff all his takedowns, have him shooting from far out, come round 3, lazy takedowns, gas him out, box him up, and knock him out. He's really motivated. He said it in the you can see it in all the media days. I was watching his desk interview before we hopped on here with Karen Bryant and all them, and he's looking really good. He's really motivated. So that Hamzat Chimaev submission was certainly a wake-up call, especially getting another grappler in next fight. Come on. Robert is a smart guy. He knows exactly what he has to do and what's at stake here if he loses this fight. So I got the former champion and the future Hall of Famer to win this fight and maintain his ranking above the main storyline in the cast of characters that is the UFC.
All right. Good night of breakdowns, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, definitely a good card for sure. Yeah, man, it's good for sure, y'all. We might be here after the card tomorrow. We're gonna be busy for sure. If I'm in the crib, I might do a little live after, give a little reaction and see what happened. Most definitely. And the boy Nick is gonna be out enjoying himself, so I'll be in the crib tomorrow night. Don't really got much planned for Saturday. The fight's gonna be early, so I might go live a little bit around like 8 or 9 p.m. Just get a little reaction to the card, get that out the way, get some more content for you boys and girls before the weekend's over and we roll on. You can let me know, Nikki, if you do have time for the Albayra Tatsudo Taira card. Of course, I know you're working a lot, so if you don't got time, it's perfectly
I think I'm
fine.
good for that card. I think the following week I won't be able to because I'm going to be away, but I should be able to good for next week's card still.
All right, but yeah, I still like watching Tatsudo Taira fight. Still really high on him. I still think he's a future champion. Him and Josh Van are fated to fight. They're both around the same age. I think Tyra's like a year older, so they're definitely fated to fight. At first, it was Tyra and Mokaya, but now it's Tyra and Van. So they're definitely
right now.
fight.
It's Tyra and Asakura. That's what I want.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. That's what, like, if they have like a UFC Japan, that's the main event.
Yeah.
Like if 2 a.m. in the morning.
That'd be sick.
Like, and I would definitely stay up for that. Like, I like cards like that. We have one coming up. That Shanghai shit starts at 3 a.m. It starts at 3 a.m. I gotta take a nap, have my alarm set for 2:30 a.m. and just wait. Everyone else is gonna be up in the middle of the night just watching the fights, bro. So I do look forward to that. Most definitely, that Shanghai card, and it's a great card. You got Brian Ortega versus Aljamain Sterling on that card. So
years in the waiting for that one.
Mm-hmm. I'm most definitely gonna be up for that. Do you think you'll set an alarm for that, or what do you think you're gonna do?
I'll probably wake up around like 5 or 6. I might miss a few fights. I don't wake up at that time.
I'll call you, bro.
I'm not gonna stay up though. That's the problem. I've done it one time and I fall back asleep and then I wake up later. I'm not staying up for 6 hours of fights at 3 a.m. because then I'm gonna ruin my whole Sunday by sleeping till 7 p.m.
Mm-hmm. Nah, I understand.
I need to take off Monday if that's the case.
By the time that, dude, I pray I don't have work on Sunday. Fuck, like, fuck working Saturday. Because if I work Saturday, that means, because it starts Saturday at 3 a.m. So I gotta be off Saturday. I'll work Sunday, so I'm to that all day. And I forgot what date the Shanghai card is. It's coming up though for sure. I think it's after the I think it's August 23rd. I think it's after UFC 319. So y'all have a blessed one. Want to give a shout out to the boy Luis. Always rolling through, always showing love to us, most definitely. Thank you so much. He says South Korea's up next. I think that is that the next card?
That's
Shit,
not the next
man.
card. We got fight night. I think he's just saying like next up, like that's what we.
Oh, like
get.
yeah, bet with fans and stuff like that. So, oh, you mean like yeah, with like yeah, staying up late. So, yeah, man, I do look forward to that. I love those cards. So, thank you again, Luis. God bless y'all. Thank y'all for viewing. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Like I said, we're becoming more consistent this year. Trying to get more subs. Really want to do this. So, y'all have a blessed evening and enjoy the fights on Saturday. Set your alarms, y'all. It's an Abu Dhabi card. So, good night and God bless y'all. Y'all have a great evening.
Peace.